I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Would you like to discuss this further, or do you want to make a motion?
I move to approve the application as written.
I will second that.
Very good. Your application is approved.
Thank you.
The application for the Wounded Vet Run to be exercised at Fredericks Park on Sunday, May 18, 2025, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The event is a presentation and ceremony for the Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle Run. Thank you very much, sir, and good luck with your event. The next item would be City of Revere, McMacken Memorial Park, 249 Broadway. Rose Burns is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine license. The license will be exercised at McMacken Memorial Park, 249 Broadway, Revere, Mass. On Saturday, April 26, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., with a rain date on Sunday, April 27, 2025. The event is a Beautify Revere Spring Cleanup Day, followed by a celebration barbecue for the volunteers. The expected attendance is 200. Your name and address for the record, please.
Rose Burns, 281 Broadway, Mayor's Office.
Very good. Can you explain briefly what you'd like to do with this license?
Yep, so the event that we're holding this at is Beautify Revere. Like I said, this is our annual spring cleanup day. It's going to be very standard with what it looked like last year. The license is the one-day license for alcohol because Murray's Tavern will be holding a beer garden at the celebration barbecue after the event for the volunteers. Murray's Tavern will be responsible for keeping alcohol within the garden, IDing patrons, so on and so forth. And Revere DPW will be setting up the taping on the Cheever Street side of the lawn for the garden.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're
Would any of
welcome.
my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I had an opportunity to review the application as well as the diagram in terms of placement of where everything's going to be. Everything seems to be in order, so I have no objection or additional comment.
Did you have Murray's last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. So it seems that we have answered everybody's questions on the board. Let me open this up to the rest of the public. Is there any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of the issuing this license? Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to beautifying Revere? You don't see or hear anybody on that? We will have a discussion or have a motion.
I can make a motion to approve.
And I'd second that motion.
Very good. I will concur, and the application is approved. The application for the City of Revere one-day malt wine license is approved to be exercised at McMacken Memorial Park, 249 Broadway, Revere, Mass. On Saturday, April 26, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., with a rain date of Sunday, April 27th, 2025. The event is a Beautify Revere Spring Cleanup Day, followed by a celebration barbecue for the volunteers. Thank you very much, and good luck with your event. Item number 2, Revere Public Library, 179 Beach Street. Don Martelli is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine license. The application will be exercised at the Revere Public Library at 179 Beach Street on Thursday, April 10th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The event is a Books and Brews networking event for small businesses. The expected attendance is 30 to 40. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Don Martelli, 39 Dale Street, here on behalf of both the trustees of the library as well as the Revere Chamber of Commerce, to which I'm on the board of both.
Thank you very much, sir. Can you explain briefly what you'd like to do with this license?
Yes, sir. The event is to connect small business owners with other small business owners as well as members of our chamber to talk about small business entrepreneurship. And the tie-in for the library is to talk about the resources that the library does provide for small business owners, everything from managing your taxes, how to get your LLC, and really showcasing the library as a good resource for small business owners in the city. And Murray's Tavern is hosting the beer and wine. They will take care of all the controls, IDing. They are also going to be on the panel talking about what it's like to run a business in the small city. So it's a way for different communities to come together to network and talk about the opportunity to grow your business here in the city.
Very good. Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I must say, your diagram looks a lot better. Did you use the same diagram as last
We
time?
did, but we tried to improve it this time around.
Yes.
This was the first time we did
The
it.
drawing is just a little bit better.
Yes,
'cause
yes.
It looked a little chicken scratchy last
It
time.
was.
But
I
it looks
appreciate
good. I can
that.
read it.
We're trying. Next time, I'm going to hire an architect and do something a little more formal.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
You're doing
we're
a
trying.
great job.
Shout out to Diane at the library.
There you go. But no, I have no additional comments. The application looks like it's in order, and they've done this before, so obviously we're rooting for you guys to have a successful event.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So when was the last time you did this?
We did this right before Thanksgiving of last year.
Okay.
And it was torrential downpour, miserable weather, but we still had 30 people that showed up that brought books and donated to the library.
Sounds interesting, though. I think I'm going to send some people over.
Absolutely. Come on through.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. We'll close this section of the hearing. I will now take any proponents. Anybody else like to speak on behalf of the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Any opponents? Anybody opposed to the issuing of the one-day malt wine license at the Revere Public Library? Don't see or hear anybody. Close that section. Would you like to discuss this or make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
No, I'm going to second that.
Very good. The motion is approved. The application is approved for a one-day malt wine license to be exercised at the Revere Public Library, 179 Beach Street. Don Martelli will be the event manager. It is a, excuse me, the license will be exercised on Thursday, April 10th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The event is a Books and Brews networking event for small businesses. Thank you very much, sir. Good
Thank you
luck
very
with
much.
the event.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Item number 3, Let 'em Rip LLC, 649 Squire Road. Nicole Larson is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day entertainment license. Application for Let 'em Rip LLC for a one-day license for entertainment. Said license to be exercised in the parking lot at 649 Squire Road on Saturday, May 10th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., with a rain date of Saturday, May 17, 2025. The event is a bike show fundraiser with a DJ and a raffle for a service animal nonprofit. The expected attendance is 50 to 100. Your name and address for the record, please.
Nicole Larson, 60 Central Boulevard in Bellingham.
Thank you very much, Ms. Larson. Can you tell us briefly what you'd like to do with this license?
So we're looking for just an entertainment license to host a bike show. We did this last year and had a really great turnout and raised $2,600 towards the charity. They provide service animals to individuals who my nephew was part of. So giving back to that organization, welcoming up to the community for people to have a chance at entering into a bike show that maybe would be less intimidated to do so at somewhere a little bit bigger. So really just doing this for the local community. Last year we had 35 registered bikes with about 80 or so people in total attendance. We're hoping for about the same, but up to 100 is our hope.
Very good, thank you very much. Now, the entertainment, is that going to be a DJ?
Yes, he did it last year. He's part of one of the local MC chapters that are involved with Boston Harley. So it's a local HOG member that will do the DJ.
Very good, thank you very much. Any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Everything seems to be in order. This is something you guys done in the past. There's been no changes.
Nope, and we have a pizza, the Easy Pie, right on site, so we kind of coordinate with them, let them know that we're kind of opening up the parking lot, so we don't have a food vendor ourselves, no alcohol, just a couple hours of a bike show.
No additional questions for me.
Sounds good to me. No more questions.
Very good, we'll close this part of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of the issuing of the one-day license to Let 'em Rip? You don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. Would you like to make a motion, or would you like to discuss it further?
I can make a motion to approve.
And I'd second.
Very
the motion.
good. Your Application and license is approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The application for Let 'em Rip LLC for a one-day entertainment license to be exercised in the parking lot at 649 Squire Road on Saturday, May 10th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be a rain date of Saturday, May 17th, 2025. The event is a bike show fundraiser with a DJ and a raffle for Service Animal Nonprofit. Thank you very much. Good luck with your event. The next item on the agenda is Mario's Mission, Inc., Susan B. Anthony Schoolfield. Marissa Tedisco is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day common victular and entertainment license. The license will be exercised on the field at Susan B. Anthony School on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is the second annual Sober Bash, offering resources for addiction treatment. The expected attendance is 50 to 80. Your name and address for the record, please.
Marissa Tedesco, 10 Hoover Ave, Peabody.
Thank you, sir.
Blake Rickerson, 40 Andrew Street, Lynn, Mass.
Thank you very much. Can you explain briefly what you'd like to do with these licenses, please?
Sure. So we hosted this event in Peabody last year. We had a great turnout. We raised a little more than about $5,000 for the charity, which it's myself and Blake's charity as well that we split the proceeds of to benefit. We also have a sober home on Hitchborn Street in Revere, so we're trying to move it closer to the home so that the women of the house can also attend and not have a lack of transportation. The event is to raise awareness and to raise money around substance use disorder and mental health. We usually have resource tables. We have vendors that come and maybe they sell bracelets or sell crafts. We also have a food truck, which I was told he already applied for the permits with the Board of Health, but that needs to be verified as well. And a DJ, and it's just basically a day of awareness to kind of get everyone out, bring awareness to recovery and, show what we can do with the community to benefit.
Thank you very much. Now, have you had contact with the Board of Health and had anything to do as far as the food truck goes, or where it's going to, I look on your diagram, I don't see where that's going to be.
It's a horrible diagram, and I apologize. We were I'm not an artist by any means. We wanted to put it where the concrete side, well, when you pull in, the school is to the right, and then there's that entrance that goes down and around the back, obviously for parking, and the event is going to be within the field. So we're hoping to put him kind of on the concrete or on the pavement in front. He has like a canteen truck type of setup. He's not per se a food truck, but he says he's worked with the city for over 26 years, so I'm hoping he knows what he's doing.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, there's two entrances to the school. One on, do you know what's?
Well, there's only one entrance and I think there's one exit.
I'm not sure,
Yeah,
so.
it's one exit off and then.
The one when you come
There's one
off of, believe it's Malden, you come off of Malden
You have
Street.
Newhall
Yes, there's a
Street
dentist
and-
over there.
Right.
Yes. Yes,
Sargent
so it's the entrance where, before the playground, then there's all the parking that goes down and behind the school in that entrance. So off to the side, obviously not blocking it, but that's where he was planning to go.
Okay. All right, well,
It does say concession stand, right? What you're
That's
saying.
him, yes.
Yeah, so I see what
yeah, I just couldn't tell what we were looking.
you're saying. I was gonna comment on on the diagram, but you kind of beat me to it.
All right, well, if you'd like to make any other questions?
No, I honestly, I truly commend what your organization does. I think it's
Thank
great
you.
work. I think it's great for the city. I'm glad that you're bringing it here.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that I can attend, I have no additional questions. The application is certainly in order. The diagram is horrible, but we made the best of it. But certainly have no additional questions about the application itself.
So last year in Peabody, how many people did you get approximately?
Throughout the day, I would say we had at least 80, not continuously at one time, but coming and going. So we didn't have more than at least 50 at once.
Okay. Thank you very much. And what kind of entertainment are you going to be having?
We have a DJ, which we're still working with finding one. We do have a bounce house, which is just a 10 by 10 inflatable that gets staked down into the ground. And there is a gentleman who is a rapper from Boston that's in recovery as well, that's going to come and put on a short performance. I actually have the flyer if you would like to see it.
Love to see it.
He works for the Gavin Foundation.
Thank you.
Very nice. Can I hang on to this?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. All right, well, thank you very much for providing that information. We'll close this part of the hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the issuing of this license? Any proponents? Don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this common victular and entertainment license? You don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. Would you like to make a motion, or would you like to discuss it more?
I can make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
And I'd gladly second that motion.
Very good. Your application for a one-day common victular entertainment license to be issued to Mario's Mission, Inc. is approved. It's a one-day license to be exercised on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is the second annual Sober Bash, offering resources for addiction treatment. The expected attendance is 50 to 80. Thank you very much. Good luck with your event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is item number 6, City of Revere, Waterfront Square. Steve Morabito is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day entertainment license. The entertainment license will be exercised at Waterfront Square on Sunday, June 29, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for DJ, dancing, and performances. The event is the 4th annual Revere Beach Pride Celebration. The expected attendance is 2,000. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Steve Morabito, 281 Broadway, Revere, Mass. Just a correction, it's, the time frame should be 1 to 7. That's what it typically has been.
What did I say?
3 to 7?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that you are right. I did misread that. I'm sorry.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah,
to
no,
make
thank you. I
sure.
appreciate that. So the hours would be 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. for DJ, dancing, and performances.
Correct. So this is to ring in the LGBTQ plus, actually not to ring it in, to end the LGBTQ plus Pride Month. It's an event that is celebrated by the community, friends, supporters, and it brings a lot of business to the area as well. And it's been a successful event for the past 4 years, and we hope we can continue it with your approval.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm looking, and am I looking at your application that says that there's going to be alcoholic beverages as well? Is that on that? Or no?
So we are just basically getting the license for the dance area where the DJ is going to be.
Yes.
The city's going to be taking care of the vendors. There's no food or alcohol vendors or beverage
Okay.
vendors. As far as the setup, you have your Drift outside bar, business as usual. Same thing with Fine Line. They have
Okay.
their outdoor patio. And then you have vendors that will be lined up like where the Starbucks area is,
Yes.
going around the corner.
Okay, very
And that
good.
last year was actually the first year that we added the vendors to it, and we got a lot of positive feedback, so we want to continue.
Yeah, no, it's a
That is
great
well.
event.
And I hope you guys can make it as well.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll close this section of the hearing. Thank you. Are there any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of the license for the City of Revere? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Would you like to make a motion, or would you like to discuss it further?
No further discussion. I'd move to approve.
And I'm going to second that.
Very good. Your application is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank
The
you.
application for the City of Revere for a one-day entertainment license to be exercised at Waterfront Square on Sunday, June 29th from 2025, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. for DJ dancing and performances.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item is Presidio Brothers LLC, DBA La Cantina 2024, 488 Broadway. Omar Preciado is the manager. Thank you. Sorry I mispronounced it initially. This is an application for a change of hours. The closing hours would be changed from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. And this is a continuation from the February meeting. Would you like to just tell me briefly what you'd like to do with that extra hour?
Hi, yep. So my name is Christian Suri, and I'm assisting the owners of La Cantina 2024. I just want to apologize for us missing the last meeting. It was my fault. I misread the email. But what they want to do is the reason to extend the hours is they noticed that a lot of the customers were coming in wanting more hours towards the end of the night, but mostly on like Fridays and Saturdays. And the entertainment that they offer, which is like showing sports games, with the World Cup coming up, the Europa Lab, just a lot of soccer events coming up. They wanted to be able to show that just later in the evening.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Did your family get the place on the beach as well, or?
Yeah.
Right, I knew you look familiar. How's that going?
Working hard.
Working hard, right?
But trying to get on time.
Right. So we've heard nothing but positive things about your business. You guys run a very good business over there. I certainly saw some videos about the celebrations, which, has drawn my interest to eventually get in there and try it. But the application itself looks like in order. I certainly don't have any additional questions, but again, for everything we've heard about from what you guys do with your business has been nothing but positive. So I'm confident if you get approved for 2 a.m., you guys would continue to do the same thing.
Thank you.
I have no problem approving it too. Last time I was there, I had a good time and I wanted that extra hour, so you're
Thank
good
you.
with me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, very good. So, that would be, the last call would be at 1:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stops at 1:30.
Yep.
Everybody has to be off the premises by 2 a.m. And you are in a residential area, so you need to be mindful
Oh,
of
yeah.
making sure that people leave quickly.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm going to close this part of the hearing. Are there any proponents or anybody who'd like to speak on behalf of the issuing of this license? We don't see you here anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the increase in hours for La Cantina? We don't see you here anybody. We'll close that section. Would you like to make a motion or discuss it further?
I'd certainly move to approve the extension of the hours.
I'm going to second that.
Very good. The application for La Cantina change of hours is approved. The change of hours will go from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. at 488 Broadway, La Cantina 2024. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. We're going to have a 10-minute recess. Thank you. about the disruption. The meeting will return to order. The next item is Sarapatya Chiang. This was DBA Four Seasons Boba Tea. This is a change of business structure for a common victualer's license. The application for Four Seasons Boba Tea for a change of business
thank
structure
you.
from a partnership to a sole proprietorship. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Your name and address for the record, please?
My name?
Yeah, my name Serapanya Cheung.
Very good. And can you explain briefly the restructuring of the business?
The same, everything the same.
You're going to keep the business exactly the same, except instead of a partnership, it's just going to be a sole proprietorship run by you?
ឯងថាឥឡូវឈ្មោះក្រុមហ៊ុនដដែលប៉ុន្តែឈ្មោះដែលម្ចាស់ក្រុមហ៊ុនហ្នឹងបង្ហាញអ្នកចូលឈ្មោះហើយ
Yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
thank you.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I don't. I'm satisfied with her testimony, and it seems like nothing else is changing other than a partnership is going to a sole proprietorship.
No questions for me.
ហើយគាត់ថា
Thank you.
ទាំងពីរអ្នកហ្នឹង
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing.
Thank you.
Are any
Thank-
proponents, anybody who would like to speak in behalf of the restructuring in this business?
ហើយថាតើមានអ្នកផ្សេងជំទាស់
I don't see your hand. You want to close that section. Anybody opposed?
ហើយថាតើមានអ្នកណា
Anybody opposed to the
អត់យ
restructuring
ល់
of
យល់ទាស់នឹងហែងជាម្នាក់ម្ចាស់
Sorry. I don't see your hand. You want to close that section. This is notarized
Yes, my,
from the
my,
department.
yeah, my passport.
Okay,
ក
very
ដាស់ពី
good.
ប្តីឯង
Would you like to discuss this further, or do you want to make a motion?
I'd move to approve.
I would second that.
Very good. Your application for a restructuring of the business, the common victualer's license is approved.
Thank you.
That license will be exercised at Four Season Boba Tea, 196 Shirley Avenue, and that business will be restructured from a partnership to a sole proprietorship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Vladisi Inc., DBA Bagel Bin Deli, 207 Shirley Avenue. Hansi Vladisi is the manager. This is an application for a common victular entertainment license. The license will be exercised at 207 Shirley Avenue. The requested hours of operation are Sunday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. The requested seating is for 50, and the requested entertainment is radio and TV. Name and address for the record, please, gentlemen.
Hansi Vladesi, 69 Elm Street, Malden, Massachusetts.
Very good.
George Vladesi, same address.
Thank you very much. Great to see both of you guys.
Great to see you
Can you
guys.
tell us briefly what you'd like to do with the new and improved bagel bin?
So we're gonna have breakfast and lunch and pizza. There was one correction that we had to make. Instead of 7 a.m., it's gonna be 6 a.m.
Okay.
And hopefully we're in business for another 20 years on the Shirley Ave.
20.
Another 40 years, hopefully.
Gonna retire just like me.
We missed you guys.
We miss you guys so much too. We're back. We have another restaurant in Topsfield, Mass, which is doing also very good over there.
Yes, I've been there. It's a very good place.
Thank you so much, Rob.
And, okay, so, is there anything else you want to tell us about what you want to do with the license? Same as it was before?
Same like before.
Basically?
Just
Three meals a day?
3 meals a day.
Pizza?
Pizza,
all
burgers
the
with
finest food-
avocados.
Finest food in Revere.
Beef stew.
Beef stew.
Yeah.
Is the meatloaf coming back?
Oh yeah, American chop suey, everything.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree with my fellow commissioner. We're all excited about Bagel Bin opening up, and obviously you and I had a conversation the other day when I popped in to see your space. I love what you guys did to the space, and I pray that it's just as busy, if not busier, as it was prior to you guys closing a few years back. So I certainly have no additional questions, and I'm happy to see your family back in Revere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have you seen the new place?
I just peeked in the window, but I haven't been inside, but I'm looking forward to it.
You think you are in Boylston Street somewhere?
Boylston, yeah.
Do you have any questions?
So I've heard great things about you guys, and we're excited to have you back, right? When are you guys looking to open?
We're looking to open around April 1st.
We see, something.
Okay, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll close this section. Is there any proponents, anybody else like to speak on behalf of the Bagel Bin? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the Bagel Bin coming back? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Do you want to discuss this further, or do you want to make a motion?
I'd gladly move to approve the application as written.
And I will second that.
Very good. The application for a common victular and entertainment license is approved. The application for the Bagel Bin, 207 Shirley Avenue, for a common victular and entertainment license to be exercised on 207 Shirley Avenue. The requested hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The requested seating is 50. The requested entertainment is radio and TV. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing you both.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, the next item is Rice Passions World Corp., DBA Rice Passions, 163 Squire Road, Unit 2. Guillermo Rodriguez is the manager. This is an application for a transfer of an all-alcohol restaurant license. Gentlemen, I have been informed that we're going to have to continue this because your application paperwork is insufficient. You have apparently not completed all of the documents necessary to have us act on this. So I've been instructed that we are to continue this till next month.
April 16th.
Pardon me?
The next date is April 16th.
That would be April 16th.
Could it be turned in, could this be delayed a few items back and then we run and get the paperwork, or is that too late?
I mean,
We can't go
had
forward, yeah.
quite a bit of time to do it, but we can't really, was there sign-offs that needed to be done? I'm not really sure what the,
The application's incomplete. We can't.
okay.
We can't.
The application's incomplete, so we can't deal with it right now, I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to come back in April when we, with the paperwork being complete. I would suggest that you call the license office, one day during business hours and get a clarification of exactly what needs to be done going forward.
Okay.
Are you guys closed right now, or are you guys open?
No, it's still open, it's under the.
You're still open, right? That's what I thought. If you were closed, then we could maybe hold a special meeting, but if you're still open, just come back April 16th and we'll get you guys squared away.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And that concludes the applications for consideration. The next items on the agenda are hearings. The first hearing would be Squire Revere LLC, DBA 4 Points by Sheridan Boston, Logan Airport Revere, 407 Squire Road. Stephen Merrill is the manager. This is a hearing into a failure to comply with mandated license requirements and inspection violations. Gentlemen, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again as well. Should we introduce again?
Yes, please, name and address for the record.
Stephen Merrill, 14 Russet Hill Road, Haverhill, Mass.
Sal Texera, 407 Squire Road.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Before we get into things, we'd like to hear from Lieutenant Leary, who is going to kind of encapsulate where we've been and see where we're going to go. Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon, Commission. I apologize that I couldn't make it last month. I wasn't expecting to find what I found to warrant me to come, but I wanted to come this month just to clear some things up. So They do have their occupancy. I have been working with them. Their certificate of inspection. They have definitely worked very hard since coming before you guys last month to get things in order. So I appreciate that. They did work hard. So what happened and why we withheld the certificate was back in December 5th of '24, they were found working, we're going to say working without a permit. They believe that they were working under a 2-year-old permit or something like that. Now, for us, it was an issue because the year before, on February 23rd, we had shut them down for working without permits. And for us, it's the same management and the same contractor, so the expectations are already out there of what we expect when you're doing construction. And now we're in a 7-story hotel, fully occupied with guests, with, bagged devices. And it's an issue of life safety. When I went in there to do the inspection on the day of the licensing meeting last month, it wasn't 1 or 2 detectors I found bagged. They were bagged and fully taped. I mean, they weren't coming down, and it was every one of them all down the floor. And that was one thing I could have probably dealt with it, had them take it down, but there was nobody, no supervisors on site there from the contractors. Sal was nice enough to call them, get one on the phone. I had spent, from the time that they got closed down on December 5th until February 12th, when their permit was issued, I was working on them providing us with a 241 safety plan. It took a long time. It was many times it got rejected, kicked back. When I asked him about his safety plan, which in it is all lined up how they have to operate there to be safe, changing out the detectors, this, that, and the other thing, he told me he had never read it. So I was like, what? What do you mean you never read it? So there wasn't a miscommunication. I mean, it was just incompetence across the board there. You provided the fire department with a document saying, this is how we're going to make this building safe during construction, and the contractor doesn't read it. He doesn't have his subordinates read it. So that's why I shut it down and had the building put a cease and desist. Obviously, they all had to get together and read their plan. And then I walked around the rest of the building. So the whole restaurant thing, I'm not in full agreement with them when they say it's not accessed by guests, okay? So it's a restaurant, it's been closed down for years. There is grills, like flat-top grills all over the place with hood systems, with fire suppression systems that are no longer functioning. There are mattresses stacked under these hoods with a fire suppression system that doesn't work. And it's a restaurant, it's not a storage room. It wasn't designed for that type of fire load. And yes, do the occupants not access it? Okay, but it's right off the main lobby. If you have a very large fire in there with all of those combustibles, it is going to affect the occupants. And it's also going to affect us as firefighters who are expected to go in there and protect these guests. So when we didn't write the certificate, it wasn't about a smoke detector. It is about the safety of the building. So I have had talks with both of them since, and I think we're all on the same page. But I also wanted to answer any questions you guys might have had for us. And
Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant. Now, are we, from this point forward, are we in good shape there?
We are working on some issues with the parking lot. They do have a park and fly, and they don't have a parking lot license. So we have informed them of what they need to do to start the process to possibly get a license. So they are working on those issues. I'm due for another quarterly inspection in the next probably 2 months. So I'm hoping that everything goes well and it's not just a shuffling of stuff around the building. But that was the other thing I wanted to bring up too. I mean, they are definitely trying to move forward and do well, but I do think that this has been a repetitive thing over the last couple years, so I do think we should keep them on notice and, let the rest of this year play out and see,
When you issued the certificate of inspection, did you take any updated pictures? We did see pictures from the last inspection.
No, so when I went in there, I didn't take update, I probably should have when I went, but the room was completely cleared out. I mean,
Awesome,
they
yeah.
did an
They said they were
excellent
gonna do that.
job.
Right. That's-
Yeah, no, and
told
they
me
called
you
me
were gonna do
back the next week. It wasn't even 7 days, I went back. It was completely cleared out, he did check off every single thing that I wrote up. I ended up giving them a formal order of notice after, the next day, the day after the meeting, just so that they had a record of exactly what we were looking to be fixed, which is fair. And he hit every one of them, so I was happy with that. And just going forward, even in the basement, like I discussed with him, in the basement where you saw some of those pictures with all the mattresses and the TVs, it's not that they can't use the room for storage, you can use it for storage, but you have electrical panels, you have to have egress paths. People have to be able to come in there and shut down the power and stuff like that. So I think he understands what we're looking for moving forward, and we're gonna take you up on that offer, though, about our surprise inspections. Instead of scheduling them, you know, we'll just show up. You know, we come every 3 months, and we'll just show up for it.
It's my job, so.
Yep.
I mean, if it's not happening, then it comes right
Yep.
back to me.
So as we sit here today, do you have any issues with us issuing the license?
No,
or
you can issue the-
continuing the business, or?
Yeah, I think you can issue the license. I think they understand what they have to continue to do moving forward, and
Very good.
we'll keep the communication going.
Hopefully, moving more towards a partnership.
Yep, gotta work together.
Would you like to speak, sir? Do you want something you want to say, or you want to add to this?
No, I just think that it was nice to meet the lieutenant and let her know that we're on the same page. And you know, apologies don't go very far, so actions do. So besides that, I'd just like to move forward.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. Do you have anything that you'd like to add?
No.
I'm good. I think I'm pretty satisfied with what you've described.
Thank you.
Well, so what would you think would, going forward, what would you want to do? Would you want to continue this for a few months, 3 months, and see where we are? And
No, I'm certainly satisfied with the lieutenant's representation. I think that we could just put this on file, and if something were to arrive, it'll just come back before us. And
Okay.
We'll bring them back in.
That's fine.
I love the fact that after our meeting, they completely cleared out that space. You verified
Yeah,
it.
there was nothing.
Your eyes were on
I
it.
was
You gave them a litany of issues that they completely addressed. And based on your representation, I had all the confidence in the world that you were going to get to the bottom of it. So I'd rather not even have to bother you guys again. Let's put it on file. I would move to put it on file. And, you know, and if something were to arise, then we'll just have to bring you guys back in. But I'm confident that you guys will be all right going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Are you all right with that as well?
Fine.
Okay, very good. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to file this, and if we have any other issues, we will address them at the time. Hopefully, we will not. And you guys can move forward, and good luck with the renovation. We hope the hotel does a great business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
for your
Lieutenant.
time. Thank you, Lieutenant. for
Good
your
luck,
time
guys.
as well. Thank you.
Hit that button for us.
Thank you. The next item is MFRP Corp., DBA The Squire, 604 Squire Road. Peter DePisa is the manager. This is a hearing into failure to provide adequate security, resulting in multiple violent attacks on patrons. Name and address for the record, please, gentlemen.
Peter DePisa, 604 Squire Road.
I am Robert DePisa, 3 Zaloga Way, Middleton, Mass.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, we've had some issues relative to the Squire, had some fairly violent issues. I was wondering, before we begin, if we could have the chief, who's here for the hearing, to come up and basically encapsulate what the city's position from the police department standpoint is.
That's fine.
Chief, if you don't mind.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. David Callahan, Chief of Police, City of Revere.
This has been an issue that's been going on since January, where there was 2 substantial incidents with 3 victims that were critically injured in fights in the parking lot where they were stabbed. And it's clearly a public safety issue. It's a public safety issue for the general public, for the patrons, and also the police officers and the first responders that have to go to that location to deal with these problems. And then these 2 specific incidents, one of them happened on Monday, January 20th. 2 victims, brutally stabbed, significant life-threatening injuries, and if it wasn't for the police officers that responded there and rendered medical aid, you could have had a fatality there. And they went above and beyond. It wasn't regular first aid. They did some advanced methods, tactical medicine, things like that, to save these gentlemen so they could be transported to the hospital. And fortunately, they were taken to a trauma center in Boston, and they underwent surgery for their injuries. Then we had the second incident that happened on Friday, a few days later, January 24th, Similar thing, disturbance in the parking lot, turned into a stabbing, a fight, and some other stuff, and the victim was stabbed in the chest and had critical injuries. And again, police officers, along with medical aid, had to give them some significant first aid and medical care on the scene, and they were taken to a trauma center in Boston to be operated on and their injuries dealt with. This has just been an issue that's been going on for a long time, off and on, problems in the parking lot, and it has to be addressed. And we try to have some communication with the owners. We increased the police detail due to a public safety need, and they weren't too open to it. And ultimately, we had to shut the police detail down until we could mediate it. I was not going to put any officer, man or woman, from the police department down there subject to that. And I think the owners here have to be put on notice. We can't tolerate this. And, you know, the other issue is we're sending every patrol in the city down there some nights. It's not acceptable. There's other parts of the city that deserve to have their own police coverage and have law enforcement in their neighborhood not responding down to that establishment to keep the peace and to clear out the parking lot. And as well as our office that go down there, you have troopers from the state police that respond out of the barracks that come down to help us. So it's a challenging situation, and it really has to come to some type of resolution.
Well, Chief, given the imposition that has been imposed on the police department and your staff and your officers, what would you like to see happen?
Well, you know, if these matters aren't addressed immediately, maybe you roll back their hours, or, you know, work on some type of significant security plan, but it's to the point that it needs to be addressed. Because you're going to have somebody, there's going to be a homicide there sooner or later. And fortunately, we had the right people in the right place at the right time to render the appropriate aid to these folks until they could be transported to the hospital and get advanced medical care.
Chief, have the officers who've been responding to these, are they feeling that the management of the club is helping them or cooperating in these types of situations or doing anything to try to mitigate it?
No, not necessarily. And, you know, one of the incidents, they were trying to get the video of what occurred in the parking lot, and they were hindered by the employee claiming he couldn't get them the video and things like that. That's unacceptable. Because in situations like that, we need the video immediately so we can conduct an investigation and apprehend the perpetrators. Every delay that we get on getting that video makes it so you may not be able to make an arrest.
I understand what you're saying. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any further questions for the chief?
I don't.
Thank you very much, Chief. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Gentlemen, You have heard the chief and the position of the police department. What say you?
Identify yourself for the record.
Once again, Rob DePisa. So I just want to address a couple of comments by the chief. First of all, the picture that he's painting here, that something's been going on bad there for a long time, is an erroneous statement. First of all, the Sunday evening event was a tough situation. It was a snowstorm. I was the manager on duty. There was 12 people in the club total. Place closed. Everybody left. We thought everyone was gone. Two guys started a fight in a parking lot. There was no incident inside the club. There was no incident during the night, everything like that. Within 12 hours, the police got the video cameras, got all the footage, everything like that. It's not something we can just run in the back room and pull off the drive. We're very cooperative with the police department. As far as the second incident, we had a cop detail on duty that evening. Also on that evening, 2 on-duty police officers pulled into our parking lot. They normally do a sweep of the parking lot with their car to clear out the parking lot. This particular night, they showed up in the parking lot earlier than closing, 1:25 in the morning. The 2 officers decided to leave their cars in our parking lot, one of them still on, and came inside and hung out with the other police officer. The 3 of them sat there from 1:45 in the morning till someone come running inside saying someone was stabbed in the parking lot, which was around 2:07, standing next to each other, texting on their phones. I was hoping we didn't have to come to this, but we're paying for a service. We are paying for a detail. We are trying to cooperate. We've been doing this for 12 years. I cannot force the police officers to do their job. They were sitting there. I've got all the photos. I've got everything to show you. We don't run an unsecure premise. We have 5 security officers on, 5 doormen on that evening, plus we pay for a cop detail. I don't know what we can do. If 3 police officers, 1 was a detail, 2 of them were on duty, and whether they came in the building or not, I'm fine with that. But they're standing there and someone's getting in a traffic issue in the parking lot, and they're not supposed to be in the club. And they're standing there next to each other texting away. I can't make them do their job.
Also, Peter DePisa, also, we don't ask for the extra details. Obviously, the police officers, they're driving around, they choose to pull into our parking lot. They're coming to visit, they're coming to see the entertainment, they're coming to talk to the fellow officer. I've been doing this for over 35 years, okay? I find it as an insult to say I don't run an establishment that's proper. We always done the right thing. We always helped out the police. There was an incident in Medford Police. They called us up. They had the videotape of an incident that happened in Medford within 15 minutes of a phone call. We also paid for the traffic cameras in the city of Revere. You know, that goes outside, out of our own money. You know, so we are helpful with the police. I cannot control the public out there. If these people choose to go to their car and grab a weapon and decide to fight somebody, how can I stop that? How can you stop that? As far as rolling back the hours, that's not going to solve the problem. People are going to fight at 7 o'clock at night, 6 in the morning, 3 in the morning. All I can tell you is if you roll back the hours, you're going to put 100 people out of business because I will have to close my doors. Because the majority of our money is made the late hours. And it's not overpacked, it's not overcrowded, it's not thousands of people. This is the first instance we had in probably over 2 years. We cannot control people's temper.
I'd like to add one more thing. If you look at the history over the last several years, we haven't had any incidents inside the club. The police details, we work good together. It's a very unfortunate issue that happened, and they did happen 6 days apart. The first incident, I don't know how, I would love to have some advice from the police department on how we could have prevented that. I mean, there was no arguments in the club, there was no anything, and Two people went out in their car to drive away, and they ended up in a bad situation. The other one, I feel like it was preventable. If the police officers were helpful in that situation and weren't standing next to each other, I don't think we'd even be here today.
Do you have your doorman, do they go out into the parking lot at all to
We-
see what's going on out there? Do you have any type of surveillance or any type of presence in the parking lot?
We have all surveillance cameras inside the parking lot. We were told, I'm probably 3 years ago, for not have our security go outside, have the police handle it. So, and we came up with an agreement with the chief, you know, going through the detail officer, with two detail officers, one to stay in the parking lot and one to stay inside. You know, that was their advice to solve the problem. Well, the guy in the parking lot, there's several times he left at 2:05. He should have been there till 3:05. So we're paying for a service and they're leaving early. And now we're going to get penalized? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, I see we have a situation that is, has some problems here, but we're gonna have to come up to some kind of a solution. And I'm not sure, Chief, what do you think about the deployment of the detail people? Is that an issue from your perspective?
Well, the deployment, you know, you need at least one officer inside, maybe two, and you need somebody outside. And they've been reluctant, and I get it, they don't want to pay or whatever it is, but it's a substantial security risk. And if they have any issues with the detail, they need to report it to the detail office. And any officer who's not doing what he's supposed to will not work there.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I want to make a comment, and this is to the owners of the Squire. For one, I think it's a bit dismissive of you, especially with the chief here, and given his, I believe, very accurate representation of your business. And I certainly dismiss the fact that you have indicated on record that there hasn't been any incidents inside when I've personally reviewed security footage of a fight that specifically took place just last year within your establishment. And it was a pretty serious incident that also, I believe, spilled on the outside. So that's also not accurate. I also don't think it's necessarily fair to pass the buck necessarily to the Revere PD as if they're not doing their job, when I believe it's primarily incumbent upon you to ensure the safety of your patrons as they enter and exit your establishment. You know, it's very upsetting to me that you guys are taking this position, because I certainly expected a different tone. But I also read a memo that seems to suggest, and based on many of your own employees, that it seems like things are run a lot differently when Robert, who's before us today, and I apologize for just calling you Rob, but that's what was referenced in the memo to us. Seems to me that the establishment is run significantly differently and more structured when Rob is on site as opposed to anyone else on site. And it seems that part of the problem is that Rob is not necessarily there as much, according to the information that we received. That's also part of the problem. But I'm also looking at the fact that there's also an $18,000 detail bill that hasn't been paid since October of 2024, which is accumulating. The fact of the matter is that I've read significant police reports, multiple police reports that have come out of your business where people are engaging in this level of violence that seems to be escalating, that's only going to lead to, as the chief represented, someone getting seriously hurt, possibly a fatality, and the two owners are before us essentially passing the buck on Revere PD. It falls on you. And the responsibility falls on the both of you. Yeah, you can't control everything that essentially takes place within your business. I understand that. And there's only so much that you can do as people exit this. But there are measures you can put in place to ensure the safeties of the folks that frequent your business. And yes, I mean, I can certainly agree with you that if we decide to roll back your hours today, it may be detrimental to you. But what other alternative do you leave the commission? When you're standing before the chief, as well as the city representatives today, and basically saying that it's not our fault. They're out in the car doing whatever they're doing, or if they weren't sitting their position together, that's unacceptable to me. And again, I'm frankly shocked that you're even taking this position, based on the chief's representation.
I'm not passing the buck. I'm not blaming the police or blaming ourselves. What I'm saying is, we did our job. We hired a police detail, as we were told. We have security. We pat everybody down. They go through metal detectors. We make sure no one gets overserved. If they go out to their parking lot and they go into their car and they grab a weapon, how do we control it from there? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I'm not here to give an advisory opinion. I certainly understand your position.
So everything you guys asked us to do, we have done. I mean, if we hire a cop detail and he chooses to leave early, I did not do my job?
I think the problem is that you as the memo indicated, and whether it's factual or not, that when an officer on site is saying, hey, you need more than one guy here, and one of the owners scoffs and says, I'm only paying for one, it's discouraging to the city as well as the chief to devote manpower when he knows he's not going to send an officer over there to be in an unsafe situation. You need more officers there, and we need this bill paid.
First and foremost, I wish I could afford the 3 officers. I wish I could. Business is not financially there. I understand. I've spoken with the detail officer to do the best I can with paying the bills and everything like that. What I'm saying is, so we've agreed with the chief to have 2 police details. One inside the building, one in the parking lot. They're not doing what we need them to do, meaning they'll be fine for the first hour or 2 of the night, and then where the problems seem to lie, around 2 in the morning, going out, police officer's in his car driving away, or the police officer inside going to the bathroom, where there's still cars in the parking lot. So I can't forcibly grab the police officer by the hand and say, hey, go back outside and do this, but I'm asking you, I'm paying you for the detail, this is the service we're asking you for, which we do agree. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad people out there, okay? It's, and I'm not pushing it off to anyone else. There's a lot of incidents around the city and other cities and stuff like that. We do take it serious as far as security. We have competent management on duty every night. Whether I'm the more structured one or not, it's just because I'm the big boss in their eyes. But we do try to run a very safe environment. Some people do not respect police officers. Some people do not respect authority. And then you end up with an incident like this. I'm looking for advice, and we actually did reach out to the police department and said, what would you like us to do if this is the incident that happened in the parking lot? And we still haven't got, only thing we got was hire more details.
Well, just and I'm keep going back to this memo, okay, which was written by one of the police officers based on his conversation with you and some of the other employees, which indicates that, when you're there, you are the big boss, and people do toe the mark. But when you're not there, it's a totally different situation. And it seems that you need to be there more. That mark needs to be towed more, otherwise you're gonna have more incidents like this. And if the detail officer is leaving early, you need to tell the detail office, hey, your guy left early. You need to make sure that that is happening, because you can't just say, well, I can't make the guy do it. No, you can't, but the chief can. Lieutenant Randall can. And if they don't know about it, how are they going to deal with it? So from your perspective, it may put you in a little bit of a dicey situation with the guy in the club, but you're going to have to make sure that you tell people when he's not doing his job. Because, realistically, from your description, it is something that looks like it could have been prevented. But by the same token, management appears to be oftentimes lax.
Now, let me ask you a question. How is it slacked when there wasn't a fight inside the club? Nobody was overserved. There was no fight inside the club. There was an incident where somebody was in the parking lot. He went to his vehicle. He pulled out a knife, and he stabbed 2 people. How is that the management responsibility?
Well,
I'm confused about who's saying we're not running a good club.
okay, well, here, let's put it this way. Did that happen in a vacuum? Or was there, do you think there was a bump? Do you think there was an argument? Do you think there was something leading up to it? That if someone was in the parking lot observing it, they could have seen it beforehand and got a little in front of it? Or did no one notice anything until the kid come out and start stabbing people? Nothing happens in a vacuum. These things tend to build up. You bump into me, I bump into you, I look at you, we're staring at each other, and now this thing is escalating. If no one gets in between it, between the time it starts until I get stabbed, yeah, I'm gonna get stabbed. But if you have a security operation that is attuned to this kind of stuff, they get out in front of it.
I understand that, but if it's 2 rival gang members in a parking lot.
It doesn't matter. It didn't just start out of nothing. There was something that set it off. There was an incident, whether it was something just as easy as a bump, there was something there. And that if you were really in tune to it, you would get in front of it. That's what I think.
I understand your point. I mean, obviously, all incidents are a little bit different. In the first case, it was kind of unexpected, but from what I found out after I gave the videotapes to the police officers, turned out to be 2 different gangs that knew each other, unfortunately. In the other incident, it happened in the parking lot where someone was backing up into a parking space, and there was someone behind him. One guy got out, started yelling at the other one yelled at back. That's something that, the only way you resolve that is, what they normally do is drive through the parking lot, clear out the parking lot, and it's been very helpful over the years. Trust me, because when we were busier 2.5 years ago and we had cars everywhere, it was very helpful to do that. You know, over the years, over the last several years, business is not nearly what it is, unfortunately. And, you know, it's very unfortunate that these both happened within a week, because we are trying to do the best we can. I shouldn't say the best we can. We are trying to do a quality job. We are trying to do a good job. That's why nobody gets in that building without showing their ID, going through a metal detector, going through a pat down with the scan, because we know how tough it is out there and people in there. And the last thing I want to do is have somebody get really, really hurt and die in my building or on my property. And that's why we're, you know, as diligent as we are. And that's why, financially, we can't afford any details, as you can see with the bill. Reasonably, I have to pay because it's a security issue. So I try to do the best I can. I do definitely fall behind. There's no question. And then I make it up as business gets better. The winter was abysmal this year.
How many personal security guys the business has on?
So during
Friday
the week,
and Saturday?
during the week, Friday and Saturday, we have 5 security officers, plus a manager, and a police detail inside. Now we have a police detail inside and a police detail outside. I mean, and we're not doing the hundreds and hundreds of people that we used to do. And that's quite a bit of people. And, you know, all of our security staff has been trained, and most of them have been with me for quite a while.
And your staff doesn't exit out of, they just do from the front door inside,
Well,
right? They don't
once
actually go
again,
inside.
as we were discussing, several years back, they just said, hey, if there's a problem in the parking lot, call us. Let us deal with it, rather than additional people get hurt, okay? Even though the parking lot is our property, that's what the police officers told us.
Yeah, I see that from 2017, but it seems to me like there needs to be someone outside in your business.
Does the detail guy outside, is he in a car or is he standing in a fixed post kind of position?
He's in his car.
Do you think it would be helpful if he was in a police car, a marked cruiser?
No, he as of the last several weeks, we did speak with the chief, and he has been in a cruiser.
Okay, Chief, is that, do you think that has been helpful, having him in a marked cruiser?
I believe it is. You need visibility. But even in some of these instances, even with the police there, marked police vehicles did not deter it. The events kept going.
It's like a larger issue. I mean, it seems like whether they're so, I mean, is the answer additional detail? Because like you said, I mean, if it's not deterring the incident, I mean.
Well, I
what's the
think they
solution
need to address their security better, and their own personnel probably need to be out in the parking lot assisting the police.
And I think
It's all
that's
put
the
on the
issue.
police department, and at a substantial cost and risk to the rest of the community, because instead of them being on patrol where they belong, they're tied up at that establishment.
Did you resume sending officers there, or is that
We just
still-
did, we came to the table where they increased it, where by their license, they're supposed to have 2 officers.
I
They
agree.
cut it down to 1. It's not safe. And it's to the point where we'll remove the police detail, they'll have no detail, and then they can take care of their own security issues. And maybe that's what's gonna happen. And, you know, what I'm seeing right here, and no disrespect to you guys whatsoever, because you're always gentlemen, but this is deflection. Let's blame the police department. Deflect. It's the police. It's the police. No, it's not. It's the establishment and some of the stuff that's there in the parking lot. And I can go back to another incident in 2022 where the detail officer got in a fight with a gentleman who tried to get a handgun out of his car. He got the handgun in his hand, and another police officer had to assist him to disarm him. And the gentleman was a real criminal. He was on federal probation. He just got sentenced in federal court. Those officers fought for their life in the parking lot. When is this going to end? That's the common denomination, is the parking lot. And if you look at one of these incidents, I believe on the 24th, one of the victims was intoxicated. Was he drinking in the establishment? I would assume so. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? There's a big picture here. And we have to come to some resolution because something catastrophic is going to happen. Just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's going to be when.
Well, Chief, if even putting a police officer in the parking lot doesn't help, I'm kind of at a loss for what are these guys supposed to do?
Exactly. Well, as of late, we believe it's been effective. But time will
With
tell.
the marked vehicle in the lot?
The marked vehicle in the parking lot, yes. And the officers will have the cruise lights on, which is just a steady blue light on the light bar, so it's visible. There's no not seeing the police car. And they put themselves in an area in the parking lot where they
How
can be
about
seen.
having like 2 of their security, the ones that they hire for the inside to the outside after closing?
Yeah, probably, yeah. That would help to get the people out of the parking area. And like these gentlemen said, I'll give them credit. They did assist us with some city cameras, and they took up the bill. And maybe we'll have to put an additional camera down there. I'm not sure. But I mean, this is something we have to deal with.
Well, Chief, if we were to agree to keep the detail with a car out there and have a detail officer on the inside, and then have a couple of their security people at the end of the night participate in sweeping the parking lot, is that something that you think would be effective or something that we could try in lieu of rolling back their hours?
Yeah, maybe if they have 3 or 4 of their employees help at the end of the night. Once they clear the establishment, have them come out and help in the parking area. Because I remember years back, they used to do it, and then they pulled it, I want to say around 2017. For what reason, I'm not sure why.
We were asked by the police.
The police asked you
Yes.
to take your
to
employees
stay
out of the
inside,
parking
yes.
lot?
Yes. And I have no problem bringing my employees out there.
So, you know, we need some help. We can't do it ourselves, and to be honest with you, we'll just take the police detail away, and they'll be on their own. They can get their own security to patrol the parking lot and to patrol the establishment. Because it gets to a point that it's a drain on the police department every weekend, every night. And the lieutenants are directed to have the officers down there in the sectors patrolling there and doing a directed patrol at the Squire for an additional visibility and also to assist the detail officer as a deterrent.
So would it be your contention that eliminating the detail and putting in a private security company is a reasonable alternative?
Well, if we can't get cooperation from the establishment, that's what probably has to happen. I don't want to do that, but I have to also look out for the interest of the police department and the city. Public safety is the main goal here, so we need some assistance from these folks.
I'm confused because we've been nothing but cooperative with the police department. I mean, so if he could tell me that I refuse you guys, I have never refused the police anything.
Well, we receive reports that, someone's refusing access to the camera, someone's locking themselves in the camera
Okay,
office, not getting,
let's correct-
We
let's-
receive a lot of reports
Let's-
about
let's
a lack
correct-
of cooperation with Revere PD,
Let's
to be
cor-
frank.
Let's correct that. Our managers do not have the password to any video cameras. Only me and my brother have it. At 2 o'clock in the morning, if they're asking to get into the cameras, they have to wait for one of us to be up or there. That's the only thing. Once we got up the next morning, they got all the information. So that's the confusion. So nobody refused the police department video cameras. So let's clear that up. Another suggestion I make that I think may help, and maybe the chief can attest to this, instead of having the cop sitting inside his cop car, let him walk the parking lot. Let them physically see a cop walking through the cars. Maybe he catch somebody with a weapon inside the car. Maybe he can see why walking the parking lot. Don't let him just sit in the car. Let him walk the whole parking lot. He's already going to be there for 4 hours.
And just to add to that, the incidents happen around closing time. So it's not like the police officer has to walk the parking lot, for the 4 hours that he's there. But it's when people are leaving the building, it seems like that's where the issues are. But I would need them to be on alert and notice so that they can see that stuff. And unfortunately, as I have personally spoken to the detail officer about the cop in the parking lot leaving early, about the cop in the parking lot coming in the building when it was closing time and nobody being in the parking lot, I said, I need them outside. The chief wants one outside, one inside. Okay, I'll put a note to it. And then it happens the next week. I don't want to get in an argument in a situation with the police department because I'm very cooperative with the police department. I respect them. I understand. But I can't, if the detail officer isn't reporting back to the officers that are doing the detail, then I can't expect them to do their job the next week. I'm there myself, and I see him pulling away with 7 cars still in the parking lot.
How often are you there, Mr. DePisa?
I'm
How
there.
often?
I own 3 places. I'm there 3 nights a week.
At the
Yes,
Revere
I am,
location?
in Revere. Majority of the time, I'm not there till 2:30 in the morning. 2 nights a week, I am till 2:30 in the morning.
So right now, the place closes and it's only the detailed officer in the parking lot.
Correct. And, just coming to conversation with the board and the chief, we have no problem. There'll be myself and another person helping get these cars out of the parking lot. I would rather go back to the original way we did it. That was what was told to us back in 2017. So it's been a long time since then. I think it's time to rethink that, which I agree with. And once again, we have no problem with one detail inside the building, one detail outside the building. And we work well with all the police officers.
Yes. We're going to recess for 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Okay. So we left it that we were going to discuss some contingencies. Chief, did you want to?
Yeah, you want to make a comment on that?
Did you want to make some further comment?
Yes, Chairman Solovich. We've just conferred with the owners and the management of the Squire, and we've come to the conclusion that they're going to hire their own security to cover the parking lot and the establishment, and we're going to remove the police detail for the time being. And we'll move forward. I just think it's best we do that for the police department, for the city of Revere, and then the establishment is going to be responsible for their own security at this time.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief. All right, gentlemen, so you see where we are now. What are we going to do?
Exactly what the chief said, we'll hire our own security and we'll deal with the parking lot.
I would like to see a security plan at some point. In other words, who you're hiring. Are you hiring your own staff, or are you going to bring in a private security company?
I'll bring a private licensed security company in.
Which will have the necessary liability insurance and things such as that?
100%.
Okay. And they'll be responsible for your parking lot and the surrounding area of the club, right? Is that
Correct.
where we're going here?
Correct.
Very good. So if you could get us a security plan, how many people you're planning on hiring, and how they're going to be deployed, who the company is, that kind of stuff, we would be greatly appreciative of that.
Yeah, if you just give me 30 days to handle that, so I'll have it done before then, but I just got to interview some security companies.
Very good. So if we'll reconvene here in a month, okay? We'll see who your security company is, how they're working out, and in 30 days, we'll revisit it and see where we are.
Thank you.
Okay? Is that acceptable?
Thank you.
Yes, certainly.
Oh, is that acceptable? Acceptable. All right. Very good. Thank you. So we're going to continue this for a month. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. Yep. Okay, good. So thank you very much for that. The next items on the agenda are communications. The one communication we have is for the surrender of an all-alcohol restaurant license from Seize the Day Restaurant, Inc., DBA Seize the Day. And the next item would be license renewals. We have one parking lot license, Rockwell Realty Trust, 1380 North Shore Road. That license is approved. And that concludes today's agenda. I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'd move to adjourn the meeting to April 16th.
April 16th it is. Do you want to second that?
I will second that.
Very good. The meeting is adjourned.